Hey, we're live again. Look at, I got a dude with me today. Super excited. Does he have a name? The Munchkin Man. Let's call him the Munchkin Man. This little guy, he has seashells from the seashore, where I went with my friend Yvonne, who's right over here. There she is. Are you in the camera? Yep. I'm at her house because, well, you know, things change, right? We can always say that things change. So we changed our Tuesday tea, which was in the morning, to Tuesday high tea because we all want to be high. And by that I mean exhilarated, above it all, but not stuck up, just enlightened. Yeah, that's the deal. Now, normally I have my thing with me. I have my little teacup, but I don't. So I reached into my bestie Yvonne's cabinet and got a teacup that represents us in a different way because we are just badass babes. All right. So we always want to make an offering for the water, you know, because the water is what gives us life. And right here in California, I don't know if you could see behind me, it's pretty smoky over here, you know, so we want to really today make this offering of water. This dog is trying to get on my lap. Get off my lap, dog. This water for all of us who need it, which is everyone on this planet, because the West is on fire, if you have not noticed, but the entire West from Colorado to the coast, all the way up and down from Canada to Mexico is burning. So I'm going to just make a prayer and just, you know, wherever you are, just take a minute and just tune into yourself. Remember, you are the same amount of water to mass as the planet is. So as the West burns, so do we. All right, so I'm going to give it to this house plant right here. Thank you, house plant, for offering it to us. And then I don't have my sage with me, so I asked my friend, hey, you got any sage or cedar or anything like that? And she's like, where'd it go? I told you. No, it's not. She's like, oh, I got some cedar wood from Young Living. And then she gives me this scent that's called, this just killed me. Like, this is not cultural appropriation, people. Dreamcatcher. But what's in it? They don't tell you. All right, because catching your dreams is a mystery. Okay, so anyway, so the cedar oil, which is, you know, from the cedar plant, which helps us ground and balance into grandmother. You know, we're just going to offer it up again to our little, to my gnome, to my friend. Put it on his third eye, over here on his seashells that were collected with me and Yvonne and Amy. So just prayers for all of that grounding, balancing, getting into our earth suit. You know, this thing that we call the meat suit that we live in, our body. I wanted to, because the world is in turmoil, you know, all those who are waiting for the apocalyptic end are counting the days for the rapture, right? All of those who think that the Democrats are going to save them are counting the days to the election. All of those who want to see, you know, Trump be exalted to king of the world are also waiting for the election. Anyways, my assistant at Firebird, Haley from Haley Comet Astrology, is brilliant. And I'm going to bring her on camera and ask her, she's not there. I can't bring her on camera because she's not around. As soon as I find her, I'm going to bring Haley on camera and she is going to give us a what's up with the Cosmo and what's going on. Oh, here she is. Here's Haley. She wants to be in the video. She is now. So here she comes. Dun, da, da, da. I am by the coast right now. Oh, it's connecting. So I'm, oh, here she is. Hey.
Yay. Hello. I'm doing good. How is everyone? Hello. Happy Tuesday. Got our
happy high tea.
High tea. New time. 4:20.
Oh, 4:20. Oh yeah, we 4:20'd up. Hold on, let me see. Yeah. Don't forget high tea.
I like the new time. This is much better than the first thing.
Yeah, let us know if you guys think that this is better than 7 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. We're open.
Haley, what is up, man? You know, the West is burning. What else is going on?
Oh my, just everything. Oh my gosh. So if you guys didn't catch our first broadcast, I touched on some of the broader parts of 2020 and why astrologers for years and years have been talking about
you have to watch it.
This year and why it's so insane. And the craziest part is that the transit that they were the most kind of talking up was the one at the end of the year from September 9th to November 13th. We had a really significant transit in January, which a lot of people were pointing the COVID stuff to, obviously. But the transit that a lot of astrologers were like, 2020 is the Mars retrograde that's occurring from now until November 13th. So we'll dive into...
So let's talk about what Mars is. Like, Mars is a planet of fire. Which
yes.
is why maybe we're all on fire.
Exactly.
And what does retrograde mean? A lot of people don't know what retrograde means.
100%. So retrograde means, from our vantage point here on planet Earth, it appears that the planet is moving backward. The planet of Mars is, like Robin said, it's action, it's assertion, it's fire. It's in its rulership in the sign of Aries, which is a fire sign, which is, you know, why literally the day Mars went retrograde was when everything was orange and red in like NorCal and Oregon. That was the day I was like, oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. And so when a planet's retrograde, it's not able to move forward. It looks here on planet Earth like it's moving backward. And it basically creates this really internal kind of focus. So instead of us being able to take action, move forward, it's a time of kind of redirecting our energy inward, reconsidering, how do I show up? How do I exert anger? How do I advocate for ourselves? This is all Mars themed. But you'll also find people who are repressing, like if you've been holding on to anger and just kind of like holding that all in, you know, people might explode. Like it might finally kind of so just being mindful.
Like everyone's losing their shit, basically, is what you're saying. Like we're all losing it in all different, no matter if it's little or big, everyone, it's really difficult right now. And this is going to be going on until November, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like hold your space.
Hold your space. And it really depends. I've really been advising I've been advising people, have a way of working things out, whether it's like working your body out or like expressing your anger in a meaningful way, because this is pressure cooker energy. This is when we could explode when we're driving, like road rage, like it's like just a feeling of, if we've been holding on, explosion. Everyone is losing it.
Right. So it's compounded. It's like super compounded, because here we've been in quarantine. Here we have this virus that, you know, it's real, it's not real, it's a government conspiracy, it's so many different things. What exactly is the coronavirus, right? And it's been withholding us and holding us up in our home. It's been changing the way that we interact with each other and our commerce, right? So all of these changes get compounded with this energetic planet that rules from aggression. So I'm at home. I'm super at home. Yeah.
And it's important to note, so Mars is in Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac, and it represents kind of like the
baby.
The baby. So think of a child. How do they get their way? Wah! So it's like everyone's like, wah! You know, and it wants to also feel free, and we're all being kind of trapped in a sense. So it's like, if people don't have a meaningful way to redirect.
Right. Everyone's in like their cage, right? Like we're all in a playpen. Everybody's stuck in a playpen. Yeah. And nobody has any toys, right? That's why you need to have high tea. Get it? Calm your ass down, man.
Have something to redirect. Because truthfully, not only is there this petlet child banging against the playpen, Mars right now is squaring Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter in Capricorn. This is the parent saying no. So not only is the child stuck.
Oh no. The child's stuck, and then its parents are telling it to be quiet.
It's like, be quiet. Do what you have to do. You don't get what you want. Mars and Aries are like, I want what I want. But we're getting a no right now. And we're getting a no during Mars retrograde.
Who likes to be told no? Who out there? Put it in the comments. I love it when you tell me no.
So it's about, we're getting a no, and we, you know, Saturn and Capricorn, this is a strong planet that's telling us no. So it's about learning how to roll with the punches, or have a way to detour.
Some of the things that Capricorn does, right? It's like it handles our commerce, right? In our business and our communication, right?
Big business, government.
Yeah. So could this be why we're experiencing some of these changes and all of that with this?
Absolutely. And I think, unfortunately, like the reason why we were looking at this transit, like, because it's really, so Capricorn rules big business and government, as I was saying, and Mars in Aries wants to feel free and autonomous. And this aspect, this transit kind of represents this feeling of loss of freedom. Like government isn't really looking out for us in this explosion, which I certainly feel. And it's during the election. We're still going to be under this influence during the election.
Wow.
So I really feel like a lot of our,
so you think all of the, like the voter, the mail voting by mail and all of that stuff is all being directed. This is why, the reason why I like to have Haley on is because, you know, by understanding, you know, as above, so below. So as we understand what our galactic cosmos is, it gives us a better understanding of what our tonal third dimensional reality is. And if we have an understanding like, okay, this is a time frame, it's not going to be like this for the end of my life, you know, but important things are happening here. It gives us the opportunity to parent ourselves, redirect our energy, and come out of it on the other side in a more positive way.
Absolutely. And it's about kind of self-regulating during this time, because Mars retrograde is when stuff like burnout and not speaking out for yourself, not advocating for yourself, like this is, it's like compounded, it's like pressure cookered. So knowing that this is upcoming, looking at how you regulate yourself, like, okay, do I feel like I have an outlet for my anger? Am I taking care of my body? Do I have too much on my plate? It's a time of getting your energy is your currency. It's a time to get really streamlined about what, like, where are you spending your energy? What do you get your energy to? So knowing that that's upcoming.
Right, you know, and I think a lot of people don't really understand their energy, you know, and how they're spending it. So like, you know, every morning when you wake up, you get like a basket of beads, right? And everything that we do takes something from us, right? Now, sometimes what we do also gives back to us as well, and it multiplies those beads, right? But when we're doing things that we don't want to do, or we're doing them from resentment, then those beads go away, they lessen. So by the end of the day, if you're spending your day and your energy doing things that make you resentful and things that you don't want to do, and interacting with people who do not serve you, and you feel like you are in service to them, you're going to feel depleted. And if you do this over and over and over again, you're going to end up with something like fibromyalgia or some other physical disease, because the West is physical. Mars is a west sitter, right? Like it sits in the west, right? So it physically sits in the western hemisphere of our sky, and we see it. It's one of the planets that we can see a lot during the year, right? I mean, we can see it in California. Of course, we are in California. I don't know if you can see Mars in New York or Maine, because I'm not an astronomer. Do you know that? No, hey, but you know what? President Trump said that science doesn't matter today. So there's no concern.
Anything goes.
Anything goes. Yeah. Anyways, so the prompt that Haley, you know, gave all of you guys to physically work your body during this time is really a magical one, because you are. And someone's trying to call me. They better know that I'm on Facebook. I forgot to turn off my phone. I'm sorry. I forgot to turn my do that special thing that you do to the phone so no one can get through. Anyways, I lost my train of thought. Go Haley. Yeah. So how do you deal with it if you're like a real water person, like you're a Scorpio, or, you know, like you have a Pisces rising, or everything is really personal to you? Like some people are very sensitive, and like if you just bark at them, they're like, oh, they're running to their room and they want to disconnect. So how can those people, those really sensitive, gentle souls, handle this?
Yeah. So I would say during this time, it's a really beautiful way, because as I mentioned, when a planet is retrograde, it creates an internal invitation to think about, how do I use my energy? How do I express my anger? These are all Mars themes. So if you are someone who is sensitive and doesn't advocate for yourself, this is actually a really beautiful time to reconsider, like, do I advocate for myself at my job, in my relationship? Do I feel free to come forward? It's supportive for that. But I will say, in terms of other people and how other people express anger, it is not personal. Mars and Aries retrograde, we're all in a freaking pressure cooker, and people are going to have all sorts of reactions, and just have some way of checking your own energy where you could just be like, this does not belong to me. like, this is not mine. Because a lot of times people, it's like they're going through something and they project that onto you, and it's just their internal world. So having ways.
That's always the truth. People are always projecting something onto you, whether it's love, like, dislike, hate, or just neutrality. Everyone's opinion of you, in case you don't know this, is based on them. Okay? It's based on how they perceive you. So at a time like this, you know, and there's people who are super charged up and they're coming at your delicate, sensitive Piscean self, you're going to have to armor up in a way and understand that, you know, this is like, get that shield of Aries, because remember, Aries Mars is a planet of war. All right. So there are no victims in war. There are no victims in war. So pick up your shield, get your tools. That's what she's telling you. This is the time, you know, when you compound what's been going on with quarantine, and then you take this Mars energy, which is like stifling you, and then these parent planets that are telling you what to do.
It's like, no. Yeah.
You know, you have an opportunity where you can either go against that and fight yourself, or you can come into alignment with it and do some real soul searching. And provide yourself the opportunity to grow up.
Absolutely. And I think what's also important with this transit is to, like, with Mars retrograde, we're getting some no's, we're getting some detours. So we really need to disconnect to this idea that everything's going to go easy and according to plan. And for, you know, the softer types that we were just talking about, do not give up. Just because you get a no, it just means, okay, that's not my avenue. Let me find a new one. Or like Aries is like, if one door closes, then knock in the wall and make your own hole to get through.
Up, over, around, down, through. It doesn't matter. There is no such thing as no in the Aries mentality. But the other two planets that you're talking about, Capricorn, and what was the other one?
Pluto, as well as Jupiter. They're all in Capricorn. 3 planets are in Capricorn.
So they're in the house of Capricorn. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto.
Okay. So those of you who are, you know, just kind of like don't really know anything about astrology, there's 12 planets which make up 12 houses. And each one of those houses represents a part of ourself. Right? So,
absolutely. Sector of our lives.
So Capricorn is the 10th house, and it is the house of our communication. And so here you have these, like, Pluto is like, it didn't get to be a planet anymore. Like, now it's a star, but it moves really, really slowly. So our now is affecting our entire generation. What happened to Haley? Haley's gone. Come back, Haley. I don't know if I froze. Oh, Haley, I lost Haley. Oh no. Hopefully I'll be able to bring her back on. Who knows? That's just part of it. You know, sometimes Facebook doesn't like what we're saying. So it bumps us off. But I'm going to see if I can get her to come back on and see what happens with that.
See, this is Mars retrograde, creating detours, but we're determined to still make it happen.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's like a really good thing, you know, like I like to, you know, in my business, I always say it's like throwing gum at the wall, you know, like if I'm working on a new product or something, you know, there's so many different levels of testing and making sure it's going to work and it's viable, like, you know, for the community and not just for the single person before it gets out on the marketplace. And, you know, not every idea works.
Absolutely.
You know, I've had some really bad ideas. And then I give them to my friend Yvonne over here, and she finds benefit in them. So there is no bad idea. You know, there just isn't, especially when you're driving towards yourself, you know? So when is this ending and what's next?
Okay, so this particular influence we're talking about, Mars retrograde in the sign of Aries, squaring all these scary planets, that ends November 13th of 2020. So, you know, all of these things are up for review to that point. So now...
So like the day of, like right before the election or like right after the election?
It's right after the election.
So it's like right after the election. We vote on the 3rd? Yeah. We vote on the 3rd.
And it ends the 13th. Yeah. So So that's why a lot of
10 days later. Wow.
I know. So a lot of it, because Mars in Aries is about feeling free and feeling powerful. And with the square to Saturn, square to all stuff, it's like, no, you're not. So I really think that speaks to something sketchy happening with this election, like people's voices not being heard.
Hey, don't you know they're not going to be able to count the ballots until like January of
Oh my gosh.
2021 or
Yeah.
something? Like, yeah.
It's so, there's so much
so much
sketchiness around it. So that was the transit that astrologers were looking at, like, oh my gosh. But I do have a light in the darkness at the end of the year. I swear, like 2021 is still a little dicey. I mean, to get, to go through, we need to go through it, a lot of this transformation. It's not necessarily pretty, but at the end of the year, we have what's called the Great Conjunction. And it only happens
that sounds like some like dark crystal shit. Okay, so the Great Conjunction. The Great Conjunction is coming.
Doesn't that sound magical?
I'm sorry, I cut you off. Like when that only happens like what, once every
20 years. 20 years. Every 20 years. But this one is significant. Okay. However, this Great Conjunction. So basically it's when the planet Jupiter, which is growth, expansion, and luck, meets up with Saturn, which is restriction, rules, structures. So the two get together over 20 years. Now, they've been meeting up together in earth signs since 1854, I believe. Earth signs every time. This year, we're starting, it meets up in Aquarius, which is an air sign, which starts a new cycle. Yay! Yeah. And you're in Aquarius. So, and this starts a new cycle until 2153. I'm going to speak to the elements because I feel like this is really a paradigm shift into where humanity is going and how we're evolving. Earth signs, love them. If there's any Taurus or Virgos or Capricorns, love them. I'm just speaking about what they represent. But earth signs symbolize the material world, the physical, food, money, success, kind of the outward world. And all of the great conjunctions were in earth signs. Now we're starting an air sign cycle. That's Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, which is about communication, which is about new ideas and kind of progression. So it's almost like we're evolving past, just earn money and just make enough to survive and, capitalism and needing to take over the planet to moving into an air sign cycle of being able to have dialogue and like move forward in a meaningful way. It's not going to be an easy transition, but I think it is significant that it's happening at the end of this year for the next, till 2153. Yeah. So
wow. Yeah, that's pretty amazing. So, but you said like it's like peace, love, and harmony and a stop sign.
Yeah. It's gonna be, I always think of like transformation, like it needs to get really, really bad before it can get better. Cause I feel like this year has been a lot of exposing of what's been going on under the scenes, like what's been happening, who's in power, how things are balanced. And people are like, hey, something's not right.
Something's not right in the kitchen. Yeah.
And air.
Yes, exactly. And breakdown, breakdown means breakthrough. So you can't, it's like, I like to use I'm getting a text message from my friend saying that we're a good match. Yes, we're a very good match. We work together. I'm very fortunate to have Haley. I just want you all to know that Haley's freaking brilliant. And because she's brilliant and she could help you unravel your little life, you can find her on the link above, and she's going to put it in there, and she can help you sort out your chart, right? Because we're just doing a collective thing. But if you're a hot freaking mess and you need some direction, it's really super awesome to know the roadmap, which is your astrological horoscope sign for your life, to see where you're supposed to be going and what you're doing. So it's not a pseudoscience. It's really a nice way to have an understanding, because a horoscope chart is a direct reflection of where the constellations were at the minute that you were born. So it is unique unto you. And science or not, as above, so below, where the stars were and where we were born, that matters to how we are developed, how we grow. Environment matters. Absolutely. So back to this air sign, great conjunction of can we stay and we must go, which is me. Hi, baby, come home. Yeah, I love you. Come and go, come and go, come and go. Like, that's what it's like to be in a relationship with me. Yes, I want you. No, go. So I'm super excited about the whole collective being in that space. And I
Yeah.
think that this is really about us, like I think so this must have happened somewhere in the 60s as well then, right? Like this
Mm-hmm.
conjunction,
Yeah.
did
It
we hit it?
happens
Like
1960, 1980, 2000. It
okay.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
think about the 60s and the 80s because those are in our immediate time frame here. Okay, so like we came out of the 50s, perfect little wives, doing all our little things, and then we're like, fuck this bra, yeah, and it took like it started there, but it took a while, and then we got to the 80s, and it was like, I don't need a bra because I got a lot of cocaine, you know. And what men got hair, like massive hair. The 80s, the early 80s was all
Mm-hmm.
about men finding their femininity, because
Mm-hmm.
even though they were super badass rockers, they looked like girls. They just did. Sorry, guys. We loved you. Are you
Mm-hmm.
fun? Loved you.
Mm-hmm.
Tight jeans, long hair, guitar. Yes. Where are you guys? What is up
Come
with all
back.
you?
Bring that back.
Pull your goddamn pants up, boys, and let your hair grow out, man. You're beautiful men. Stop shaving your heads. What
Mm-hmm.
about
Mm-hmm.
dancing? Yeah. Anyways.
It really, so those decades, so the Jupiter conjunct Saturn, it's like Jupiter is growth and Saturn is our structure. So it
Oh.
typically
Oh.
is like
So we're like literally growing into ourselves. Right. And so
exactly,
how
exactly.
long does that last for? How long does that go for? That Saturn, that thing,
Jupiter,
the
yeah,
yeah,
the Great
Jupiter and Saturn.
Conjunction.
How long?
It
The Great
will be
Conjunction.
present through 2021. Like I've been telling people
Oh.
2022 is beautiful. Guys, let's all get excited for 2022. 2021 is still growing pains. I know
Oh,
2021 is still some growing pains of growing into this new structure. Like what is this thing?
right.
How can we all like listen to each other and like generally work together? Because air sign is about connection. More than anything, air signs are about connection. So it's like there's a
So this is
lot
an
of
exciting conversation. Like, as we start talking about things like reworking the police department,
mm-hmm.
giving them some assistance so they can have
Yes.
some mental health help, so they're
Mm-hmm.
not just putting their lives on the line every time they get out of their car and, shooting first because they might get killed.
Yeah.
Maybe
Mm-hmm.
that will help that conversation. Maybe Black Lives Matter can evolve into the fact that it doesn't mean that you don't matter if you're an Anglo. It just means that we have been disproportionately, you know, unmatched for generations and generations. So I think that
Absolutely.
it's really exciting. In my culture, there's a teaching that peace comes in 2053. That is when
Oh,
that's when peace like lands on the planet.
yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
yay, of course I'll be 207 years old then, but it's okay. I do Pilates and smoke weed. I'll still look good. Sorry. This is what happens when I'm awake, man. We need to go back to 7 a.m. so I tone it down. It's okay.
And
Anyway,
it's
so
about those meaningful connect, like you were talking about, like these ways of like meaningfully creating dialogue with one another to create a better world. Like Earth sign, the cycle before it, which was until the 19th century till now, Earth signs is about like resources and money and accumulating land. And it's like now we have the technology where ostensibly we could all be fed and like all be taken care of. And now it's time to connect so we can like create methods of us being able to expand beyond
we can
just
actually
basic
become a
needs.
community of man. And that's something with
Exactly.
the COVID virus that I've found to appreciate is that I think it's localizing our commerce, it's localizing
Mm-hmm.
our food.
Mm-hmm.
These are good things, things that make you start to connect to the community that you live in. These
Yeah.
are not bad things, and that's
Mm-hmm.
that's been part of, at least, I only speak to Western culture because I live in America, so I have no, I lived in Israel for a while. It was a long time ago on a kibbutz, so I have a little tiny understanding of what it is to be in a community, and we don't really have that in America. So it's
Mm-hmm.
really nice that, it's terrible the way it's coming about for a lot of us, but it's also really
Right.
lovely in another way because we're starting, like, how many people have spent more time with their family this last year than they had in the last 10?
Right.
you
I
know
know.
how many
Absolutely.
how much unwanted sex have you not had this year with some random hookup at a bar? Hopefully a lot, you know? Hopefully you found a way to like love yourself, hook
Mm-hmm.
up with yourself, over this quarantine.
It really eroded kind of our external world in a sense. Like a lot of people like don't have all this stuff around them to prop them up, or like going out for all the answers. It really draws the focus inward. Like, what do I care about? What is closest to me? Like my family, what I care about, what's near to and dear to my heart. It like erodes the things that don't really matter. So I think it's creating this draw inward where we have to find that strength and that meaning for ourselves from within and echo that outward. So it's devastating, but it can be really powerful.
But you have to crack an egg to get the food, right?
So true.
So I really want to encourage all of you to understand that as hard as it is for you, is as beautiful as it's going to be in the future. So, you know, if you do the work, you will get the reward. That is just the law of the universe. There is no like, oh my gosh, do the work and you will get the reward. It is not a magic combination. It is just the way that it rolls. If you put it out there, it will come. It's the law of attraction. You know, wherever you put your attention, you will reap. So, you know, the reason why I wanted Haley to come and do this with me today is to, again, give us a deeper understanding of what's coming in front of us, and then tools so we can figure out how to make ourselves better during this really difficult transitions that are happening. I mean, all of us have chosen to be here on planet Earth right now. You know, all of you who are raising children right now, you're raising a really special breed of human being. You are literally raising the next generation. You know, like when it was the 20s and it went from, you know, when we had just horses and then we had automobiles, you know, these kind of things are happening in our planet right now. And they're uncomfortable transitions for us because they put us in a place of difference. And like, I hate standing in line for the bank and there's only 3 people who could go in. I'm just keep asking myself, how is this helping me? But you know, it's reworking the whole financial system of the world.
Absolutely.
Good or bad. So the more, Mars is an awesome planet to use to empower yourself, to fire yourself up. So some of the deity that holds the space of Mars is, what's his name? I just spaced on his name. The guy with the Achilles. Yeah.
Oh,
right?
okay.
He's like the guy. Achilles, right? You know? And Athena. She's the other one in the Greek mystery. She's the god, you know, she's the war goddess. So I want to encourage you all to go to battle with yourself, because that's who the real fight is with. And that is why she is here, is to give you the tools so you can carve away at your mysterious character. Because are you really authentic? The more authentic you are, the happier you're going to be. And that's where astrology gives us like a little understanding, like, oh yeah, I've always been like that. And then as soon as we get permission for something, it's like okay for us. So Haley can give you permission. She's given me lots of permission. It's been like, oh my God, that's why I'm like that. Oh my God, no wonder. You know, when you unlock the mystery of what the heavens were when you were born, you gain a much deeper understanding of yourself. And that's what we're. Go on.
You understand the cycles, because we tend to think, you know, with technology that we're like machines, that we can just produce. But sometimes there's certain cycles that are taking place in our life that it's like, well, maybe you should draw inward. Maybe you should focus on, you know, your home life is really, really powerful right now. Dive into that. Or right now is full focus on a career. You have a lot of opportunity. It's about understanding we are part of nature. Nature has its cycles and its seasons, and learning where the cosmos are supporting us in creation within our life. So we don't feel like we're just forcing all of this stuff. We're able to just kind of flow with what's working for us. And I think that's
ebb and flow.
Bob and weave.
Bob and
and that's
weave. Bob and
super essential with this upcoming Mars retrograde, is to where are you putting your energy? Where is it serving you and where is it not? And can you streamline it so you get up and you feel motivated to take on the day and tackle the tasks that really mean something to you? Mars is how we take action and advocate for ourselves. So asking yourself those deeper questions and understanding it for yourself.
And not judging yourself when you ask those deeper questions, because, you know, it's really easy to get into like, oh my God, I really do suck, you know. And that's not why we go through self exploration. We don't dig down deep into ourselves to find our ugliness. That's right here on the surface. You know, we're very acquainted with how ugly we are, right? What we're not acquainted with is how beautiful we are, and that's hidden underneath all that nasty dark shit. So dig deep, humans, dig deep. Find yourself, and allow yourself to be the individual mysterious character that you are. You know, reach out to this girl. She's not very expensive. You can afford her, I promise you. And get your chart done. Get an understanding of who you are, you know, of why. If you're like walking around going, oh, am I just a meat suit just here collecting, you know, garbage and taking up space? Ugh. You know, if that's where you're at today, or if you're at the like, I don't really have a clue what's going on, which is kind of where I live, you know, I'm in the like, I don't know what's happening. Reach out to Haley. She's going to help you. She's going to help you understand yourself by looking and deciphering what you came to do with your chart.
Yeah. Reconnecting with your deeper calling. So I would love that. Yes.
So anything else you want to say as we wrap it up?
A couple of just tidbits, just moving into the end of the year. One, I would say, I want you to be fixed on what you want, but flexible in the approach. Like me and Robin were saying, like, you are a warrior, right? With Mars and Aries, it's about being a warrior, but I want you to be like a sneaky warrior. Like if something isn't working out, look for opportunity, look for a way out. Or like a way around. Like don't give up. You know, Mars is about advocating for ourselves, so don't give up. But be open to a new approach is one. B, I would say reconnect with your power. That's Mars. Don't feel like you don't have a voice, although, you know, with government, all those squares to Saturn, you might feel that way. Have a way of channeling that energy into something that you feel strongly about, so you still feel kind of in your power. And the third being, just be gentle. We're going through a lot of cycles. As Robin mentioned, this is a really foundational year. It's really foundational. So being gentle if you're not feeling like you can work 12 hours a day. Like Mars is our energy center. So we're going to kind of experience a little bit of a slowdown, but it's about saving our energy into the stuff that really, really lights us up. And the last just little bit I'll mention is, you know, Saturn is in Capricorn, and Saturn is about karma. It's about step by step, and it's in rulership in Capricorn. So basically nothing worth having is coming easily this year, but the rewards are immense, but it's about us having the discipline to see them through step by step. So yes, and I would love to chat with you all. I'll put my little thing in the comment, and let us know also any feedback. If you enjoy the afternoon, if we should shift it back in the morning, we are all open for tea time.
You know, we're doing this for you, and make sure you share this, because I'm sure there's somebody out there who's picking their nose going, what the heck is going on? You know, so we all need a little enlightenment and a whole lot of humor. And if you feel like you do not have a voice, then start speaking in small ways for yourself, in just tiny ways. And as you gain that muscle of your voice, you'll be able to speak a louder, greater voice and manifest what you want, and stay the course. You know, if you have a dream, live it. You know, you're going to die anyway. Sincerely, like, no one gets out alive. So just do what you fucking want, man, and enjoy yourself, and be kind to yourself, life, and others. And I want to thank my buddy, Yvonne, for letting me just like roll up at her house, like, I gotta do this live video, blah. I know, it's like, that's the great thing about having friends.
That's what friends are for. Yeah, the gnome really added. I'm really happy the gnome was there. That really made it.
Okay, and since I'm dropping my phone, I think it's time to say goodbye. Haley's going to put all of her information in the feed. You can also just click on her above. I highlighted her and her business in the header. So thank you all for listening. We really appreciate you, Haley. You know I love you dearly and appreciate you daily. So thank you so much, you guys. See you later.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.